Hello. Oh look, half of your phone case is in my screen.
Oh, is it?
Half
oh,
is a bit much, to be
Notice
honest.
how
That was a bit of an exaggeration. It was a tiny little piece. Ooh, dog's barking. Oh, there's an Amazon parcel outside my back gate. Hold the line, callers.
Hold the line, callers.
Right,
Yeah,
you check chat. I'll do that.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to reality. Yeah. So the dog is currently barking. We are having a chat and a coffee. I have a decaf today, everybody. Thought you might be interested to know that. But Luke has gone to answer the door. Hi, doggy. Hi. Yes, you did a good job of protecting us against the nasty delivery man. Yes, you did. There we go.
Are we back?
Happy? We're back. We never left.
Right.
So,
Pop this back on.
oh, look, an email. Luke, your parcel has been delivered. There we go.
Oh, there it has. Oh, are we in? Sorry, I'm scratching the mic. Well, that didn't go to plan.
No, it didn't. That's life. Never does.
Life, oh life.
Exactly.
I'll have a bit of toast to watch the evening news.
Oh, don't even start. Luke reminded me the other day of a song, and now I've immediately forgotten. Desiree, isn't it? Life. That's
Life.
what it's called.
Yeah.
And it won an award once for being the worst song ever.
Now it's our theme tune.
And now it's on. We have been randomly texting each other bits of this song for the last week.
Good old lyrics.
It's awful. Sorry. It's actually for a pretty tune. There we go. But it's also,
This is written by a 6-year-old.
it was
We
written by a
established
6-year-old.
today.
It's not actually written by a 6-year-old, but it.
I mean, we don't know for sure.
Well, I have actually looked it up to see who wrote it, and I
Here's the
believe
credits.
she did write. It's her most successful song.
Well, I mean, it was successful. We still know every lyric now, and it's what,
I know.
at least 25, 30 years on, is it not?
Oh, it must be. Gosh. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, that's the end of our discussion. Nice to see you. Right.
Who are we, and what's the day? What are we talking about?
I know, we're talking about comparison.
Yes.
One of my favourite phrases that we were just trying to Google to make sure I got it right, and I don't think I have, so I've been misquoting for a long time, is that comparison is the root of all disappointment.
And I don't think that's the right quote. I think the one that most people know is comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes, that's another way to put it.
But I think they're both, whichever way you look at it, are the same sort of thing. So what do you think about that, Luke? Do you want to start with your...
I think we live in a world designed by comparison. You only need to pick up a magazine or scroll social media and go, oh, look at that. I don't look like that. Or I don't have that. Or I'm not as successful as them. Or, oh, look at them. I'm doing better than them. You know, they can go either way. And so I think everything in media is designed by comparison. And I think comparison sells.
Oh,
What do you think?
I think that's a really interesting way of looking at it. It's very pithy, what you've just said. Comparison sells.
Pithy.
Pithy. Shall I get the dictionary?
Should we get the thesaurus out?
Meaning a very succinct and sort of snappy way of saying, yeah, comparison sells. I think you're absolutely right. Because if you're happy with your own lot, whatever your lot is, you don't care what somebody else has. But if you're encouraged constantly to look at someone else, for example, and see that they've got a certain, I don't know, lifestyle or job or whatever, then you're kind of, I guess you're right. So the news, and especially trashy news, does like to tell us stories about what people are wearing or who they're wearing or, you know, what possessions they have or when they went on holiday. And even places like social media, you find yourself scrolling and going, oh God, I'm sitting in a, you know, at my desk on a rainy day and my friend is in Barbados or something, and you feel, well, I've certainly felt that, oh gosh, it's not me.
Bit of FOMO.
FOMO, yes, or maybe not so much FOMO as, oh, it can't be me. I couldn't do that right now for reasons of don't have the time, the money.
You feel bad about yourself.
And then, what am I doing wrong with my life? So it kind of triggers a bit of a shame spiral, I suppose. Oh, I'm doing everything wrong. Or is it just me that does that?
I also think that, okay. Do you think comparison is necessary in times for inspiration and goals? Funnily enough, we just had a brief conversation about this, didn't we?
We did.
I want to say something first, and then we'll circle back to that, because that's an important question.
Yeah.
I also think, just from a societal perspective, not necessarily media, we're told we should a lot. We should diet and exercise. We should eat 5 a day. We should do this, do that, whatever the societal expectations are. So how many times do you sit there stuffing your face with sweets because you're having one of those days?
Peach rings.
Peach rings. God, we love peach rings.
We do.
Lidl's peach rings.
Really nice.
Absolute life changing.
Yeah.
But how many times we do that and then we go, oh, I shouldn't. You know, someone else I know, you know, is really strict, or they diet and exercise all the time, or they've got a fantastic figure, and I bet they don't sit and do this. And again, that shame spiral that you talked about, it's not just media, I think it's in society. And I think even, you know, doing what you do or previously did as a health coach, I'm sure that there are, well, we talked about this a lot, there are things that have, that you've kind of preached through your work that you think, well, I'm not actually sure. You know, I don't know how that makes you feel good as a person sometimes if you can't physically achieve it.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. And I, you know, in those situations, it's really funny because what that brings up for me, I'm still health coaching, but I've sidestepped it to move into a more life coaching area. But one of the big reasons why is because I didn't quite feel I could be me. Because I was always comparing myself to other healthy people who did all these healthy things that I can do, but I struggled to sustain perfectly in a way that I felt was made me enough of a role model to be someone that you could aspire to be like.
And you think, as a health coach, I should be
be
getting it right all the time.
I should. Now I logically know that's bollocks, let's be honest. I know that I can't be perfect.
Because no one is.
And no one is. But I still couldn't quite be me. So maybe this is part of my own journey. And the comparison there maybe was useful because it allowed me to step out with that environment and go, well, who am I then? And maybe now maybe one day I can edge back into that in my own way and be more comfortable doing it. So yes, it's I don't know where I've ended up with that conversation, but it's been useful and it's also not been helpful to me.
So, we got a nice thumbs up, thank you.
Oh, hi Lynn.
So let's go back to that question. You know, how can we use it in a positive way? Is it useful in a positive way?
So we were talking about this before, weren't we? I think sometimes it can be useful when, let's think about this. So the example I was talking about with you is, say somebody does something, they achieve something, they go somewhere, and you discover about it, and it causes something in you to react. So the comparison maybe isn't completely overt, but you're getting jealous, perhaps. Jealousy is one example. So you notice a pang of jealousy because you've seen something, compared yourself and gone, oh, I'm not doing that, or I should be doing that, whatever. There is some useful information in that, because that pang of jealousy can tell you, oh, okay, why did I feel that way? What does that mean to me? What is that trying to tell me? What could I do about it?
So it could take you either way, really, couldn't it? Because it could go, okay, well, I'm going to strive to get this thing too, or I'm going to just get bitter.
Yes.
You know?
I love that. Yeah. So what would you choose? I'll just get bitter. Yeah. No, but it's true, isn't it? You could wallow in that and become someone who's really jealous. And I see it. I've seen it in people who, you know, they just become jealous of other people who have the thing or the things that they don't have through their comparison.
But you could use it as a driving force. And that will probably depend on your mindset at the time or generally in life and how you've been conditioned. But I think you find that a lot of really, if we were to talk about people that we might consider to be successful, for whatever reason you quantify success as, you'll probably find that a lot of them have a motivator, something that's driving them. And you hear in a lot of stories, it's like, wow, when I was a child, I saw this person and then I thought, oh, I want to do that. And so they've used that as a aspirational thing. So that, you know, it could go either way.
It could go either way. And I think we also need to maybe examine why has that feeling come up? What kind of conditioning do I have that makes me think, is there anything in there that makes me think, oh, well, why are they doing that? They shouldn't be doing that. And what is that feeling? And do I need to maybe accept some responsibility for it and go, okay, well, can I just extend some grace to them and be excited for them and be happy and go and do my thing without worrying about it? Because I certainly feel, for me, and I don't know how you feel, in business, it's very easy to compare. Oh, look at that shiny person over there, what they're doing. They're really successful. Oh, I'm not good enough. Do you find that? Do you
and I find people say it to me. They look at me and go, you're doing great. I'm like, oh, if you look at my tax return, I'm not doing that great. That's like my benchmark for, is my benchmark for success money? I don't know.
Ooh, that was interesting. That slipped out.
Yeah. Well, which is not, because if it was, I wouldn't have sustained 5 years of earning none.
True.
But I forgot where I was going with that.
It's because I interrupted you.
Sorry.
Comparison, money.
Oh, and I think, okay, so this is my point. I think that you can look at people and think, wow, they've got it all, they're successful, I want to be like them, or I'm jealous of them, or why am I not like them? But when you ask that person, 9 times out of 10, I think they don't even recognise their own success in that way, or they're still striving for something else or something more and don't think they've made it yet.
Yeah.
But then we might look at that person and think that they've made it.
Yes, yeah. So what we're seeing isn't the full picture. We are seeing the bits that they choose to share.
Yeah. Especially on social media.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think you and I try to be quite raw, though, don't we? And quite honest on social media.
Some people don't like that, and some people do. But again, where does that come from? But who knows? We probably shouldn't be psychoanalyzing other people.
Well, also, does it matter? Because there's always going to be people that don't like what you're doing, and you just have to. And it's true though, because it's an important lesson I'm still learning. You just have to get on and do your thing, and do whatever you want to do without worrying about what other people are thinking. I think it's hard.
It's really hard. I think what I've learned is that nobody knows what the F they're doing. No one. You have, like, growing up, you are a child and you look at adults and you think, oh, I can't wait to be an adult, you've really got your shit together. And then you get to an adult and you're like, oh, I wish I was a child. I can't deal with this.
Someone tell me what to do.
I know. And then, then you have children and you're like, oh.
I've got an adult.
And now I'm an adult, officially, but you just go through life and you think, oh, well, when I'm 30, I'll know what I'm doing. Or when I'm 40, I'll know what I want to be when I grow up. When I'm 50, I really have my shit together.
Yeah.
And the truth is, I don't think anybody knows. And I don't think anybody's got their shit together.
No.
Anyone.
No, and that's actually really, really sort of liberating.
I know.
Because we're all just winging it.
Yeah.
No one's got a clue.
I think that there are, moments when you've got it together.
Yeah.
But I don't think consistently anybody has their whole life together.
But also define what you mean by together. I mean, what is that?
Yeah, like
what does that look like?
Like in one section of your life, you might be doing all right.
Well, yeah, that's the Bridget Jones, isn't it?
Is
it's
it?
the truth. She hijacks Jane Austen. She says it's truth universally acknowledged that when one area of your life is going well, another one falls spectacularly to pieces, which is true, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember you saying that before.
And yeah, so what is together?
I remember in the corporate world, I was like, I want to be a manager. I want to be a manager. I want to be a manager. Looking at all these managers that I work with, I want that. And then I was speaking to my manager once. She was like, look, the truth is that none of us managers know what we're doing either. Like, we're all just winging it. Yeah. Like, none of us are really experts in anything. Yeah. And then I got to being a manager. I was like, oh, I don't like this. This is not at all what I expected. I don't feel like I have authority, or that I know what I'm doing, or that I've earned my throne. Exactly. I was like, I'm just going, yeah.
And now everyone hates me because I'm a manager.
I'm not getting paid enough.
I don't even have any friends at work anymore because everyone hates me. I experienced that because I was a manager for a little while when I worked for an agency. And I was so desperate to do, I was like, oh, I'll be head of writing. I was so excited. And I had a business card and it said it on there and then, everyone hates you because you're the boss and you sort of have to tell them what to do and make sure that they're doing things, and no one talks to you anymore. There's no office, like,
no fun. The balance is gone.
Camaraderie. Yeah. It's horrible. I hated it. And I realised then I don't want to be hierarchical. I just want to be with people. I'm
really anti-hierarchy.
See, that's another conversation for another day. Hierarchy. Yuck. We hate it.
Is hierarchy also about comparison?
Ooh, juicy. Yeah, my stomach's just rumbling. Sorry, that's probably really happens
to me every time.
I'm so sorry.
Every single time.
Yes. I was talking with my husband about this the other day. I'm not a big fan of hierarchy, but I do understand that sometimes in an organisation the buck has to stop with someone, so someone needs to be responsible. But this idea of going up a chain of command and someone being more important than someone else.
That's the thing I don't like. It's like, we're all just human. No one's more important than anybody.
Yeah. So I remember reading ages ago, there was this story of, I'm going to misquote this really badly. I do this all the time. Someone spoke to the team at NASA, and they spoke to the cleaning guy, and they said, "What do you do?" And he said, "I help put men on the moon."
Yeah.
And that is it, right? Yeah. He's just
Everything
as
plays
important. If he wasn't there doing his job, they wouldn't be able to do what they're doing. And so that's where I think you're the same. Probably we come from that idea of we're all a mesh, a network, cogs in the machine, I suppose. Is one way of looking at it, rather than
we've all got a role to play.
Yeah, absolutely. So
for me, hierarchy is more about the ego, isn't it? It's more. Is it? I know I wanted it for status, and then I got there. I was like,
Yeah, samesies. Yeah. I got the status, and I was like, I don't like this. I found myself talking to someone at a wedding, saying, "Yes, well, I'm head of writing, and then this sort of icky feeling descended over me, like, oh, Katie, really?
Part of me, I know. Part of me, even now, is like, yes, I used to be a HR manager.
Get me. Yeah.
Emphasis on used to be.
I love that. Yeah. So we still have that, don't we?
But I think it's ingrained in us.
It's self-worth, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is self-worth.
Self-worth. I want to be someone.
Would I have felt like a failure if I'd ended my corporate career without having that title? It's a question I often ask myself.
What's the answer?
I don't know. Probably.
Why?
Because the role that I had before that has caused me significant levels of emotional damage, and so at least I got to end on a high as such. So it's possibly more about the experience rather than the title. However, I always strived to want to be a manager. That was my whole goal the whole time. So at least I can be like, I tick that box and then bowed out.
It's interesting though to reflect on, isn't it? Do you? I guess because the thing is, that whole experience has made you who you are now. All the good bits, all the bad bits, the
twitchy bits.
It's all made you the person you are. So I mean, you could rationalise it and say you're still winning a life because if it hadn't happened. Weird though, isn't it? Even though you aren't affiliated with that sort of thing anymore, the need to have the
Do you know
success.
I wanted to be a manager, and it was proper comparison. I worked with someone who I adored, still adore to this day, and we hang out all the time. And I was like, I want to be like you. Because she was like my favourite person in the world to work with as a manager. I was like, I want to be like you. This is what I want. And actually, in talking to her now, and she hated that role.
Oh, wow.
And yet all I saw was her succeeding and glowing and being everything that I thought I wanted to be.
How funny.
And yet she looks back and cringes at that role and vows she would never ever do it again.
So again, so that goes back to the point we're making about what you see isn't always necessarily what is real. So or not completely real anyway.
So, and which leads us to, what are we comparing ourselves to? We're not comparing ourselves to the truth.
No.
To honesty.
Well.
We're comparing ourselves to a facade.
Yeah, or a version of truth, at least. And we can never really know what it's like to be another person. So we will never know. So why bother? Why do we do it then? Why bother? Why do we do it? Do you think there's... My stomach's rumbling again, I'm really sorry.
Sounds fun.
I know, I haven't eaten today. Do you think there's something innately human about comparison? Obviously, do cats compare themselves to other cats? I don't know. But do you think that's...
cats are superior to everyone.
But you know what I mean? Do you think it's part of being a human being that we compare? Because we've talked about this before, I think, but this kind of tribalism that we display as a species, like, you're in my gang, and that's safe. And there's some sort of psychological and physical safety about having your gang. So the need to compare and look at other people, what are they? Are they safe? Are they...
It's more of a judgment aspect, isn't it? It's like a fight or flight judgment.
Comparison.
Because for me, no, being one gang and looking at another gang.
Yeah.
But if it were comparison, you'd be like, well, how can I be better than them? Or how can I have what they've got?
But that is discussed. Is that part of survival? Striving for, I don't have this thing. I need that thing to survive or to be healthier or to be whatever.
Ooh, they've got a door on their cave. I need a door on my cave.
That's it, yeah.
And maybe we grow through comparison. Maybe things become like the person that invented the wheel. Maybe somebody else looked at that and went, oh, that's a good idea. And then the wheel became the norm. It could have just stopped at that one person, invented the wheel, and everyone went, oh, that's nice. And then nothing might have ever happened with it. And we might just be driving around with square wheels. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Does a comparison create a competition which creates momentum, which then brings things into fruition? Because a lot of people that are leaders in, or companies that are leaders in their markets, haven't necessarily invented the thing that they're leaders for. You think about mobile phones, there are so many different options and types of mobile phones that you can get, but only one of those people somewhere along the line would have invented the mobile phone. Everybody else has gone, oh, that's a good idea. And then they've tried to better it and better it and better it and better it until every mobile phone is completely comparable, if you think about it. That's what you do. You go mobile phone shopping and you compare this one to that one to this one to that one. And you use comparison. They use that from a bargaining perspective of, okay, well, if there's all these things, what can I do to stand out, to get more business, to thrive more, to be a market leader? And from a consumer perspective, we're like, oh, I can shop around. I have options.
You're talking now about capitalism.
Exactly.
Basically.
I think this is where we started, wasn't it? Comparison sales.
Comparison sales.
That's where we started, yeah.
So in that context, it's useful. I mean, but there's
who's
also,
it useful for?
Well, I mean, there is advancement, isn't there? There's a great benefit to having a communication device that works beautifully well, that allows you to talk to somebody on the other side of the planet. I mean, I've video called my nephew who was travelling, and he's like in the middle of literally nowhere, and there's still signal, and we can still talk. So they're
We're off on a weird tangent.
We are, but I think it's useful because you show that within the context that we have created for ourselves.
Yeah. Because I guess what I mean by it went off on a weird tangent. I started talking about a product where actually the whole idea of this was comparison of people.
Well, was it?
Was it? Who knows? We just said the word and then just see where it goes. Someone's made a comment. Let me try not to, what am I doing here? Okay. I actively try and explore what I find myself comparing myself to. I think cleaning up your social media is so important in helping negative comparison where it impacts your self-worth. But having a positive comparison is really helpful for me personally as something to strive towards. So we've sort of talked about that, haven't we? Striving towards something. I love a social media cleanse.
Yeah, a social media cleanse. You're talking about people though, not necessarily accounts.
Well, I've got another thing. Oh, Sarah. Comparison have been so hard throughout our lives in our childhood, career, relationship. I was in such a state that by the age of 30, I wasn't settled in a relationship and had children. As I got older, I felt less of a need to compare and more focused on what I want in life. I do think it changes as we get older.
It does. It really, really does.
Yeah, I think we give less shits.
I was exactly about to say you give less of a shit. Yeah, you just, because you learn. Well, why? Okay, I was going to say what I think. What do you think about that? Why do you give less of a shit as you get older?
Well, I don't know if this is a contentment thing. I've been thinking about this recently, actually, and from my perspective, I've got older, I am in a happy relationship, I have a family, we've got a home, like all the things I strive for when I was younger I've got. Doesn't mean I don't strive for new things, but I'm not trying to attract any of that stuff anymore, so I care less. I'm like, well, I don't care what I look like because I'm already married and it's a lot of effort to get a divorce, so why bother?
I'll tell Alex you said that.
No, I mean, it's just like I don't need to worry about what I look like because I have somebody who loves me and who I love regardless of what we look like and what state we're in, because we love each other. So that's one thing off my list of things to compare about. Do you see what I mean? So I think that if we get older and some of those things that we've been striving for settle into place and we're really content with them, the need for comparison goes away with contentment, is what I'm trying to say.
I like that. Yeah. So contentment is an antidote to comparison.
Ooh, that's nice.
Ooh.
Quote that, Katie Delaney.
Isn't it? Copyright. No, it's true, isn't it? I think you've said something really true there. Contentment is. But I think you have to learn contentment. And also when you were saying that, I was thinking it feels like you've developed a healthier attitude towards comparison. You now maybe strive, you see it and you go, oh, I haven't got that thing, or done that thing I want to do, so I'm going to strive for that, rather than it becoming a resentful, jealous thing. But then you said you don't feel that. So
we talked about jealousy just before we came on live, because jealousy is not something that I resonate with at all.
That's interesting.
At all. It just doesn't feel like it's unless it's a complete blind spot and I'm not aware of it, but I just don't feel like it's even in any of my nature. It's just not something that bothers me. But I see a lot of jealousy in the world, and I just find it's fascinating for me. And even just my eldest daughter is a very jealous character by nature. She is a jealous human being. It's an odd concept to me because it's not something, and I think I would say the same for my husband. We just don't operate in that kind of mindset. I wonder if it's a male thing, or if it's just a character type. Is it star sign? Who knows? But like, what is it? Like, what do you think?
Is it security? Is it because you feel secure? Because I guess you'd have to answer that question, you have to get under the skin of what is jealousy, first of all. What is it? It's seeing something you haven't gotten that you want and resenting the other person.
I think feeling uneasy about that.
Yeah.
I think this is why I don't operate in the mindset of competition with my business as well, because a lot of people, you can't have two yoga teachers in the same place, or or if you can't be too near another one because that's encroaching on their territory or whatever. And I'm just like, you can all come and work at my studio, I don't care, because we all got something to offer. I don't feel jealous or threatened or at risk by another person doing the same thing in my space. I think we can all succeed together. But I also know that's a really rare mindset.
I think it really is. But I think it shows security on your part. So you're very secure. I know who I am, I know what I want, and I know what I'm doing. I don't need to worry about what everyone else is doing because I know.
And I don't even follow other yoga teachers really, because I'm just not interested in thinking, oh, look at that pose, and oh, look how good they look at that, and oh, look how busy their classes are. I'm like, I don't care. I haven't got the energy to care. It's not an ego thing, like all my classes are all full, so I don't need to worry, because they're not.
Book on now.
Yeah, but I just don't have the energy. Like, why would I waste that energy? I can't control what anybody else is doing.
That's very pragmatic, though. I think that's very mature and pragmatic.
I'm quite pragmatic.
Yeah, I think a lot of people wouldn't feel that way. But you have been doing this, but you've been in business for quite some time. Has this always been the case for you, though? Yeah.
But and I have a really good friend who is also a yoga teacher, and she has to take regular breaks from Instagram and stuff because she gets really, I don't know if jealous is the right way to describe it, but she gets really upset with the things that she sees posts from other yoga teachers, and then she feels like she's failing or she's not good enough. And I'm like, no, you're awesome. Like, just stop following these people. That, because again, a bit like we discussed earlier, it's not always real.
No, exactly. I think that is unusual, though. I mean, I just shared a post yesterday about how I feel insecure, and I have daily moments of, God, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing this properly? And that comes probably from all sorts of things that have happened to me in the past, but perfectionism, and need to control and feel like I've got everything under control and I can't, you know.
I super resonate with those qualities, though.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe it just manifests itself differently in you somehow. So you've just innately, I'm just going to stay in my lane and do my thing, because that is very sensible. There is no need to compare yourself to anybody else, because I believe there are just people for everybody. There's 8 billion people on the planet. Yeah. We should be able to find enough work from the people that feel a connection with us, not to worry about.
And I also think when you do the things that we do, our goal is to help people improve their lives, right? So really our mission should be the more people doing it, the better. You know, because that's what we want. We don't want to be the only person that's helping everyone. We want everyone to be helping everyone.
Yes, absolutely.
You know?
That's very grown up though, Luke. Cheers to that. I've just realised you haven't got a drink.
I drank it before we got on the call.
For goodness sake.
Another comment.
Oh, thank you, Faye. Thank you. I think jealousy can come from people who lack the self-belief that they can achieve what someone else is. It's often perceived as a negative trait, but I think it shows where people who operate that way need support in. Yeah, it's true. I think you need a certain level of awareness to realise that that is what your jealousy is telling you. I think that's what we were talking about, isn't it, really? You have, if you feel that feeling, what's it telling you about who you are, and where do you need some support in moving forwards and rechanneling that energy to something more positive. Thank you.
I think that it's okay, whatever feeling comes up, whether that's jealousy or whatever, because we're all prone to feelings because we're human.
Yes. Well, yes, that is what being human is, isn't it? Emotion.
So that, again, is this whole comparison thing. You're sat here saying, oh, Luke, you're so grown up, and that's what a mature mindset. And is that you going, well, I'm not? You know? And are you having a comparison here with me, is what I'm saying. Like, but it's not, you know, I get angry easy. I get wound up easy. You know, I call people morons a lot. So just because you have one feeling and then you go, oh, why do, and you start going off on this kind of mindset of judging that, why doesn't he feel that way, and why do I do feel that way? But then that's not the full picture, because on the other hand, you don't get wound up by morons as much as me.
No, I don't get
So, you know, we're just, and maybe the conversation really needs to be that we're all okay just to have irrational feelings.
Yes, all feelings, without having to define.
Without having to justify them.
Exactly. Again, I'm going to talk about Carl Jung. I go on about him pretty much every week he comes up. But one of his beliefs is that we need to do shadow work, which is bringing out all the icky parts of ourselves we don't like and just look at them and, you know, maybe accept them, because what else are you going to do with it? If you're not aware of it, you certainly can't deal with it.
I think most people aren't aware, but the ones of us that are, or that we do that work, I also think there's a big piece around acceptance, because actually a lot of people do the work and then go, right, I must change. That's
last week's conversation, acceptance versus change.
I must change. I must do better. And I'm like, but there's no perfect person. Why do you need to do better? Why do you need to change? Maybe you just need to go, actually, that's all right. I'm a bit of a knob sometimes.
Speaking from personal experience. Yeah.
You know, maybe it's all right just to not be all right all the time, not be perfect. Recovering perfectionists.
That was, hashtag recovering perfectionists.
Yeah.
So you're saying then...
Maybe that could be our podcast name.
Recovering perfectionists. I reckon it's being done.
Oh, yeah. Well, Half Calf hasn't, though.
Half Calf, no. Would you like us to do a podcast? We've been thinking about doing it. We keep talking about doing it.
We keep talking about doing it.
Talking about we haven't.
Although I do upload these on YouTube, and you can listen to them as podcasts.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were thinking of making it a bit more official.
Yeah. Well,
what would you call it?
Please tell us what we don't know.
The other thing is, we were thinking about doing a fair and positive living group.
Oh yes, as in me and Luke live,
like an audience of Katie and Luke, but less egotistical than that. But you know, would you like that? Would you like to come and sit with us, have a chat with us, and it will just be a good chat, but you get to join in too, and you can bring a topic. You know, and you could throw anything at us, and we'll see how we do.
We'll see what we're quite good at that kind of off the cuff.
Yeah, we had a veto list though, didn't we? The other day, we were messaging each other with this list of things that we absolutely will refuse to talk about because we might end up calling people rude names.
Yeah, don't. We all have them. They're in my shadow list. We
Let's
won't
not
go
touch
there.
this topic.
No. So I'll field mine to you, and you can field yours to me.
Yeah, or maybe if people bring live questions, we can just have a red paddle. It's like, not going there.
Tell you later.
Offline.
But would you enjoy that? Would you come along? Would you come and what do you think?
Is this just our optimism thinking, people are going to want to come and talk to us? Or would you actually like to do it? We would like to know.
Yes, please do tell us.
Because we're thinking of doing it in June.
Yeah, next month.
Which is soon, so we probably need to get a shimmy on about setting that up.
Yes, that's actually a very good idea. Are we now managing our lives lives? We are. We're adminning ourselves on air.
Yes. Oh yeah. Wow. It's real. This is what we do.
Keeping it real.
Okay. Well, nice conversation.
Yeah. Good one.
Good one.
Probably have to get kids now, don't we?
No, if we have to. Thank you for all your comments. It was nice to have live comments.
Yeah.
We like that. It's a bit of engagement. And yes, we like to talk to you.
Yes, and to each other.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.